Hello, this is Brave Sir Robin coming to you from Parts Unknown. For the past little while now, on my Twitter and on my Facebook page and other such places wherever I can voice my opinion, I've been doing a bit of, I guess you could say, bitching and complaining about mainstream wrestling. Right now I feel the WWE's become as stale and stagnant as it's ever been, and TNA, while improving, they're still pretty bad too. So where does a wrestling fan of today have to turn now to watch good quality wrestling? The independents, obviously, and that's why I feel they deserve your support. And what's a good place to start for following independent? I'm going to talk about a few of those, and maybe talk about some of the top independent feds that are out there today, and where a good starting point is for them. Maybe some new fans are feeling a bit daunted and don't know where to start. Maybe I'll help make that easier for them. So the show I'm going to talk about today is Open the Historic Gate from Dragon Gate USA, the first ever show these guys did. I'm going to talk about it today. We're going to see if it's any good and see if this is an independent worth following. So right away, we have ECW alumni and widow to Al Wilson, Dawn Marie, hosting the event. I guess for any show that performs at the old ECW arena, it's a requirement to throw in ECW references, but it's really unnecessary, and she doesn't even add anything to the show. The only thing she's really doing is the ring announcing, so I hope they didn't blow too much money on bringing her in. So now on to the opening match. We have BB Hulk versus Yamato, and that's all capitals, by the way. As customary for any BB Hulk match, he's led to the ring by his female dancers, and tonight is no exception. One of those dancers being Ring of Honor and Shimmer Women's Athletes performer, Daizee Haze. Daizee Haze, what's she doing here? Did she just happen to be backstage and the regular dancers called in sick, so they decided to put her in front of the camera? Or did somebody just decide, we really need to bring in Daizee Haze as a dancer? Even though they make no mention of her whatsoever, it was really quite surprising to see her. And Yamato makes his entrance, and I'm a bit distracted by Dawn Marie's unenthusiastic commentary. All we get from her is a deadpan, "This is Yamato, whoopee." I mean, some stats would have been nice, maybe like a little video package say, here's what's great about Yamato, here's what he does, but they do nothing like that. I think that was a mistake, to be honest. Yamato's a more technical guy, and BB Hulk, he's more into the flippy moves and a lot of showboating and stuff, a more acrobatic type. And they actually do a smart thing. They have the technical guy wear down the high flyer guy by kicking his legs a lot and keeping him pretty well grounded. We do get a lot of near falls and near finishes, which pretty much shows us what we're in for while watching Dragon Gate USA. Yamato, he wins with a move called the Galleria, which is basically an alley-oop into a tombstone. I guess that's the best way to describe it. It's a pretty good match. For the first match they ever did for the Federation, they do their job of getting people into it, and the crowd was excited, so that's a big plus as well. I'd call it a good start, and really, and it pretty much sets the stage for future things to come, because BB Hulk and Yamato, they would go on to feud after this. Now here's an odd pairing for the next match. We have Ken Doane versus Too Cold Scorpio. Now, really odd pairing here. Ken Doane, I'm sure most of you are familiar with as part of the Spirit Squad, and then went on to be known as Kenny Dykstra in the WWE. Someone who once had a lot of potential, but never seemed to really live up to it for whatever reason. Too Cold Scorpio, I really shouldn't have to introduce, but I'm a little disappointed that he doesn't come out to his WCW theme. Here comes Too Cold Scorpio. That would have been awesome if he did, but I guess there was copyrights involved with that. Now the crowd, they really get on Doane's case for being a former male cheerleader with chants of "Where's your pom-poms?" and "We want Ziggler." Ouch. Luckily it doesn't take away from the match though. The match I actually thought would be a weird train wreck and clash of styles, but was actually quite good. Scorpio can't go to the air and do the high-flying moves that he used to, but he does do them sparingly, and that's probably the smartest thing he could do. He actually wins by busting out an awesome-looking moonsault, still one of the nicest in the business. I really gotta say, Too Cold Scorpio, for his age, he can still go. We even saw that at Hardcore Justice last year, so the guy's still got it, that's it. Then we're shown a backstage clip of Naruki Doi and Shingo preparing for the main event. And while they're getting dressed or being narrated, where some guy's talking about their accomplishments and alliances and rivalries in Dragon Gate. It's good that they're talking about it, but as I said before, some clips would have been nice so we can see it rather than just being told. So next up, we have 8-man tag team action as various wrestlers from Shikara Pro show off their skills. We have Lightning Mike Quackenbush, Jigsaw, Fire Ant and Soldier Ant versus Gran Akuma, Icarus, Amasis, and Hallow Wicked. Now, for those of you who remember WCW, you know where every so often they would show this fast-paced cruiserweight match with a bunch of crazy stuff going on? It's basically like that, except even faster, if you could believe it. The match, it's not a lot for psychology or anything like that, but it's still very exciting. It's one of those blink and you'll miss something awesome type matches with a lot of dives and a lot of flippy moves, but not in a bad way, and a lot of moves I'm not even going to attempt to name. The face team wins when Jigsaw nails a move called the Jig and Tonic on Icarus and gets the pin. It was a very exciting match, and it served its purpose to be one of those I want to see more of these guys match, so they did their job well. Dawn Marie, of course, she takes it down a peg because she announces the winners as Lightning, Quackenbush, and Jagsaw. She can't even read her cue cards right. I don't know. They probably, whatever they spent on her, it was too much. So then Quackenbush gets on the mic afterwards and praises up Jorge Rivera, who helped train him and a lot of the Dragon Gate guys. Then they show a highlight package for someone who's not even on the show. What's that about? Then he talks about a sibling rivalry between the Dragon Gate guys and the Shikara guys and makes an open challenge, which Yamato accepts by cutting a promo in Japanese and then kicking Quack in the nuts. This leads to a big pull-apart brawl where Akuma turns on the Shikara guys by kicking Jigsaw in the nuts. So there's a formation of 2 new tag teams right there. Not a bad thing to do on an opening show. So next up, we have Masato Yoshino versus the Dragon Kid, bringing their rivalry from Dragon Gate all the way to Dragon Gate USA, and the announcers really build on that, which of course they should. This is what they need to do for being the first Dragon Gate show, and again, it's a very good, fast match. Dragon Kid, he's a lot like a young Rey Mysterio Jr. before the injuries slowed him down, with a bit of Ultimo Dragon mixed in for obvious reasons. And Yoshino, I'm sure a lot of you have seen from various indies like Ring of Honor, Pro Wrestling Guerrilla, and even a brief TNA run where he's brought in as part of the World X Cup a few years ago. So these two guys, Dragon Gate is obviously going to build themselves around them, and a lot of effort is put into this, and it's a really good showcase. At one point I had to pause my DVD, rewind, and listen again. Dragon Kid, he attempts a double jump moonsault into the ring, and the move is called Jesus. It's seriously, I looked it up. That is what it's called. He calls a move Jesus. The jokes just write themselves for that. So Dragon Kid, he wins with an Ultra Hurricane Rana from the outside and into the inside. Very good match. It's, like I said, they showcase what they should have been, and this is what Dragon Gate USA is going to be all about. But then Yoshino, at the end, he refuses to shake hands with the kids. This leads to a stare down between the two, and Naruki Doi and Shingo, who are ringside, get in the ring too. This leads to Too Cold Scorpio. He hits the ring to make peace and name drops Eddie Guerrero and Dean Malenko and Sabu and others. Totally unnecessary. Dragon Gate USA needs to be building their own reputation, not name dropping ECW. ECW, it's dead and buried, and Vince McMahon's already pissed on the grave, and Dixie Carter's already dug up the corpse and raped it. So they really don't need to be bringing that up. It is cool that he praises up Kid and Yoshino, and the rematch is made. These two will fight a lot more, and it's always a good match every time. So now we have some tag team action with the Young Bucks, Pre-Generation Me, facing off against Shima, again all caps, and Susumu Yokosuka. The match seems mostly about hyping up Shima, who is one of the best Dragon Gate USA has to offer, so they want to show him to be a big deal. And the Young Bucks, they have an impressive showing as well. There's many exciting double team moves and near falls, and they do a really good job with this tag match. The Young Bucks, they win with the more bang for your buck. I was actually surprised to see them win, because I thought they were building up Shima throughout the whole thing. Not much to really add. The match was exciting, though it wasn't really long, and it wasn't long after this that the Young Bucks were signed by TNA. It looked like they wanted to build them up a lot, but then they got signed away, which is too bad. We would have seen a lot from them, but they're doing good in TNA, so you can't really complain there. Totally worth checking out to see what awesome matches these guys were having on the indie scene before they got to TNA and were doing jobs to Matt Hardy and Eric Bischoff, but whatever. After the match, the Young Bucks declare that while they used to be called the tag team of the future, they are now the tag team of the present, and issue an open challenge to any other tag team. Though no one accepts tonight, but on future DVDs this will be followed up on, obviously. Now next up is the main event that they've been hyping all night. We have Naruki Doi versus Shingo, and Doi comes out with his Open the Dream Gate title as well. This is a really strange belt, where in the middle of the belt they have a lock with several keys hanging off of it. From what I'm able to understand, the challenger comes with a key, and if the champion defends the title, he gets to keep the key and hang it from the belt and show how many defenses he has made. But if the title changes hand, the challenger uses the key to open the belt. I'm not sure what's inside, though. I've never really had this fully explained anywhere. This is just what I was able to piece together from various DVDs and stuff I have seen with Dragon Gate guys. Very good match again, of course. They do a good job doing what they should do and hyping up these guys and showing what Dragon Gate USA is going to be all about. Though the match is non-title, again, it's still pretty good, and Doi wins with a move called the Muscular Bomb, which according to Wikipedia is a half Nelson lifted and dropped into a wheelbarrow driver. I'm sure videos of this move exist and can be found on YouTube or wherever. You're probably better looking at them. I don't think my description does it any justice. So that's Open the Historic Gate from Dragon Gate USA. A very good jumping on point for anybody who wants to get into Dragon Gate USA. No better place than starting with the first card. It's under 2 years old and you won't feel totally lost in current storylines because it sets everything up quite nicely. My only real gripe is if you've never seen any of these guys before, you might feel a bit lost. Luckily, I'm a little familiar with them. A lot of these guys have appeared for Ring of Honor and Pro Wrestling Guerrilla and some even for TNA, so I was quite familiar with a lot of them and the moves that they do and how they wrestle. But anybody who's never seen these guys before, they probably might end up feeling a little lost. It's a good DVD to pick up. Like I said, this is the first one ever, under 2 years old. Some good bonus matches on here as well. A nice cover here. A really good bonus match that I'm going to recommend is an 8-man tag. We have BB Hulk and Jushin Liger, of all people, and Jack Evans and Matt Sydal, now known as Evan Bourne, versus Masato Yoshino, Magnitude Kishiwada, Kevin Steen, and Naruki Doi, and it's a match from 2006. This is going to bring me into a question I'm going to have now. Up till now, I've only been reviewing the main features on all the discs that I've been reviewing. And I'm going to ask, should I be reviewing the bonus matches as well? Should I be, popping in the second disc and talking about it? Or should I just keep doing like I've been doing, just review the main feature and let the fans who end up watching the DVDs watch the bonuses? Because, well, that's what they are. They're bonuses. So if anybody has an opinion on that, I'd like you to leave a comment below or subscribe to my Twitter and leave a comment or go to my Facebook and leave a comment. I'm really curious what people's opinions are on this. So until next time, this is Brave Sir Robin, and once again, please support independent wrestling. Good start right here, and I'll be back next time with talk of another good indie and talk about another good starting point.